So, Mother's Day. That time of year when Instagram and social media in general looks like a motherhood-themed Hallmark movie marathon. But for some of us, it feels like we're walking past a bakery window when you've been starving your whole life. Some people are blessed enough to be celebrating the mom that every child desires and deserves. The one who raised them with unconditional love, fresh baked cookies, and emotional regulation. The rest of us, we're just trying not to spiral in the grocery store cart aisle. So, if you didn't have a mother, if your mother was absent, unavailable, or unsafe, or if you lost her before you were ready, you are not forgotten today. I see you, and I truly know how hard this day can be. And if you are a mother right now, maybe raising babies or grown-up babies, or even just your inner child, and doing it all without having truly been mothered yourself, that deserves a moment too. Hello soul family, welcome back to the channel, or welcome to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Nicole, and today we're going to be talking about Mother's Day and the mother wound. In this video, we're going to talk about the mother wound, where the mother wound often comes from, some signs that you might have a mother wound that could use some healing, some tending to, and most importantly, at the end, we're going to be talking about how you can heal your own mother wound. Not everyone had a bad mom, but not every mom had the tools to emotionally mother themselves, let alone their child, and that's where the mother wound comes in. The mother wound isn't a medical diagnosis, but it is a real phenomenon. It's the emotional imprint left when our relationships with our mothers lacked the nurturing, safety, and attunement we all need as children in our developmental years. And although many may associate it being only with daughters and mother-daughter relationships, the mother wound also affects sons too. Both sons and daughters can have a mother wound. So for me, the simplest way to think of the mother wound is a lack of or a loss of the unconditional love that we are supposed to get from our mothers in our early developmental years. This wound is typically passed down through generations, and it takes a cycle breaker, that's you, to stop it in its path. This mother wound can develop from two extremes. The one extreme being raised by an alcoholic or a drug addicted or a mentally unstable mother, but it can also come from the other extreme, which is well-intended mothers who just simply didn't have the capacity or the tools to mother themselves. So you may have grown up with a mom who was physically present but emotionally very distant. Maybe she was hypercritical, or maybe she needed you to take care of her feelings, or maybe she just didn't see you in the way that you needed and deserved to be seen. Maybe she didn't see you for you. Maybe she didn't accept you and support you, or only accepted and supported parts of you while rejecting the other parts. Or maybe you grew up without a mom at all. Or maybe your mom was an amazing mother who unfortunately left this earth too soon. Or maybe you have other experiences with women that created a deep feeling of like missing something. It's not always about abuse or neglect, and I think that's where a lot of people understand the mother wound. Sometimes it's about absence of emotional connection, warmth, safety, acceptance, and deep unconditional love and support for you. And those early gaps of emotional connection and unconditional love, unfortunately, if they are unattended to, they will creep their ways into your adult life in a variety of unsuspecting ways. Because the way our mother nurtured and cared for us as children is likely the way we still show up for ourselves as adults. Alright, so I want to pause here and take a moment to stress the importance of the idea that this video and any other videos that I make about psychology and personal growth and healing is not made to blame or point fingers at other people and like our mothers in this case. We may not have been the cause of our emotional pain, and we definitely did not deserve it. Nobody does, but we surely are the ones responsible for healing it and not lashing out on others and not having it leaking out onto others. Part of healing is to understand that our mothers and our parents are human too, and they have had to grow through their own journey, and they did not have a handbook either, and they did the best they could with what they had at the time. Now, I know that saying that might upset some people, and in no way, shape, or form am I condoning any type of neglectful or harmful behavior, but one of my favorite sayings recently comes to mind here, and that is that two truths can exist simultaneously. The truth is that those experiences you went through were awful and they should have never happened to you, and you deserve better. And if a person is going to act in a toxic, harmful, neglectful way, then it tells us that they are living out their own unhealed trauma. Again, not condoning, and again, it is their responsibility to heal that trauma, but we can look at something and discern that it is not right, while also discerning that it is still our responsibility to do what's best for us. It's like when you're crossing the street, if you decide not to look both ways, someone might hit you, and no, you didn't deserve to be hit by a car. And also, it is still our responsibility to take our health and safety into our own priority and make sure we're looking both ways. That's just an example, a metaphor. Maybe it doesn't completely encompass it. I'll think about it later, probably while I'm editing, but that's what comes to mind here. Oh, and while we're here like tiptoeing around like disclaimerville, this is just like another disclaimer to remind you that I am not a registered mental health professional. This does not count as medical advice. In no way, shape, or form am I giving you medical advice. You should always talk to your healthcare professional. I am just a human being with a passion for psychology and personal growth, who also loves to talk in general about those things, and a bachelor's in psychology because I have a passion. And I'm just sharing some of my thoughts and experiences with you if you want to listen, and if not, like, I'm not going to be offended. Obviously, you probably haven't even gotten this far if that's the case. Anyways, moving on. Okay, so now we're going to talk about where the mother wound often comes from. We kind of already did talk about it, but we're going to talk a little bit more about it. We already mentioned some mothers couldn't nurture you because they weren't nurtured themselves, while others might have been overwhelmed with life. They may have been struggling with addiction, poverty, their own trauma, their own mental health struggles. The list goes on. Some get caught up in the rat race, and we all know that stress is a killer. Stress kills our health. Stress kills relationships. Stress kills joy. Stress kills literally everything. Whatever the reason for your mother not being able to show up for you, the outcome is often the same, just like it was probably the same for her. The outcome of a child not being mothered is often that the child learns to shrink, to cope alone, and to carry guilt for even having needs to begin with. This child is likely a child who grows up to people please and often will strive to be needed. This is probably a child that grows into an adult who struggles with their relationships to women, whether it's romantically or not, and they might have an underlying resentment towards women that they might not even be consciously aware of. Okay, so some symptoms that we might have a mother wound is that you often will neglect your own needs like hygiene, nutrition, sleep, and especially doing it for other people. Self-sacrificing, right? You constantly seek approval, especially from authority figures or partners. You feel like nothing you do is ever enough. You likely grew up feeling like the parent in the relationship with your mom, and you might struggle with low self-worth or imposter syndrome. You likely fear abandonment or rejection in close relationships. You tend to people please and overfunction to the point of exhaustion, to the point of it being detrimental to your health. You likely don't know how to express difficult emotions, or you numb them in order to people please and keep the peace in your relationships. You probably battle perfectionism and feel a deep need to stay in control, and you probably secretly believe that love has to be earned. As a woman, you might feel pressure to adhere to the strict expectations of womanhood and what being a woman is, while maybe not even understanding what it is. Like, you're kind of just guessing. And you might look to other sources to learn these things. You might caretake others to the point of resentment and exhaustion. And you will probably stay small because you don't want to self-actualize. You don't want to actualize your potential, or because you don't want to threaten other people. And you have a huge fear of failure and disappointment. There's probably a persistent sense that there's something wrong with you or shameful about you. And if you are a mother, you might have resentment and bitterness towards your own children. You might be unconsciously waiting for your mother's permission and approval for your life, and you likely have the inability to practice foundational self-care and ask to receive support. You likely allow and accept poor and abusive treatment from others, and you probably never feel good enough no matter what you seem to do. Okay, so now that we've talked about all those things that feel really deep and heavy, especially if you relate to them, let's talk about how we can work towards healing the mother wound and tending to that space that needs love in ourselves, because ultimately that's what it is. Anything that needs healing really just needs love and presence and connection and intention. So the goal here is to give yourself what you did not get and to break the cycle instead of passing it on. So here are 8 steps towards healing the mother wound. And just remember that healing is not linear. You might think you heal one aspect of yourself and then a year or so later you come back to the same thing. Healing is a spiral. We are constantly going in spirals, cyclical. Everything is cyclical. Just know that all the work you're putting into your healing is making positive, lasting changes for you and your generation. The first step we're going to do is we're going to acknowledge the wound. The fact that you're even on this video shows that you have likely acknowledged the wound. We're going to recognize that you even have a mother wound in the first place. While it might not be obvious as like big T traumas versus little t traumas, remembering that it could be an emotionally distant, a hypercritical, a conditionally loving, or feeling like you had to parent her type of relationship. Regardless, let yourself validate the pain, even if others say it wasn't that bad, or even and especially if you're looking at other people and you're seeing that they might have a more challenging relationship with their mother. That does not take away from the pain that you have experienced. Again, 2 truths can exist simultaneously. You can look at it and acknowledge, wow, that is a more challenging situation, and I'm grateful that I don't have as challenging of a situation. Maybe you don't have to be grateful about it yet, but you can also acknowledge that this is hard for me and this is a lot for me, and just because they had a challenging situation, quote unquote more challenging, doesn't mean anything. It literally doesn't mean anything. There isn't a more challenging or less challenging. Everything is subjective based on our perceptions. So step number 2, we're going to understand the roots, which is also what we've been doing here. So again, you're on the right path. We're going to explore where this wound may have came from, not just personally, but systematically, generationally. Many mothers were carrying trauma, facing societal pressures, or surviving within oppressive systems. Again, understanding it doesn't excuse the behavior, but it might help you to release some of the shame or guilt that definitely doesn't belong to you. Step 3, you're going to remother yourself. You're going to start tending to your needs the way a good enough mother would have. This doesn't need to be perfection. You're going to take care of your body, sleep, food, rest, proper nutrition. You're going to speak to yourself with compassion. Maybe you're going to create routines that feel safe for you, that help to support you. And you're definitely going to give yourself permission to feel without judgment. This is how you build internal safety and nurture your adult self. Step 4, you're going to connect with your inner child. You're going to grieve with your inner child. She, he, they needed love, protection, and acceptance, and they might still be waiting for it. You can use visualization. You can imagine holding your younger self. Definitely get pictures of your younger self. This has been a huge help for me. I love having pictures of my younger self. You can write a letter to your younger self. You can write a letter as your younger self. You can do mindful breathing and gentle affirmations to help to allow your inner child to feel the grief, but this time not alone. You can envision, this one was huge for me. I had a memory that was really rough for me, and I decided to envision it going a different way. I saw my really good friend as a child at the time, and so I envisioned her as a child with me as a child, comforting me like together, and we were just together, and having that rewrite of the memory in my mind, even though obviously it didn't actually happen, it gave me a sense of peace, and like I was able to release release it. Step 5, we're going to regulate instead of reacting. In the past, we have probably chosen to react, probably automatically responded with a reaction, but this time now as an adult, we are going to learn how to self-regulate. So first things first, when you're triggered or overwhelmed, pause. In these moments, your inner child is seeking safety, you are feeling unsafe. Instead of spiraling, practice self-soothing. Do not go to scroll social media because this is literally avoiding the problem. So you want to pause and really be present with yourself. This is the key to everything, guys, is just being present with yourself. This changed my whole life. It's still changing my whole life. Is in the process of changing my whole life every time I'm present with myself. When you're feeling this way, you might affirm to yourself, I am safe, I am protected. You might talk to yourself as if you are the adult. You are safe, you are protected now, I've got you, sweetie. At the beginning, this might feel silly, but over time, this rewires your brain and your nervous system to feel safer inside your body and in relationships. For step 6, we are going to separate our identity. You are not your mother. You don't have to repeat her patterns. You don't have to live her story. You don't have to fulfill her expectations. First of all, begin with defining who you are. What are your values? What is your voice? What is your desires? This might involve setting emotional and physical boundaries with your mother or other people who fulfill this role in your life until you do heal. But it is important that you are able to discern the difference. Step 7 is to seek support and community. You don't have to do this alone. You can search for groups in your area to make friends. You can search for a therapist, which I know can be challenging for some people as there might be barriers to access. You can look for self-help content like this. You can find communities that are looking to support the healing and growth that you are also looking to do. I know for me personally, it was extremely isolating when the people in my immediate reality didn't understand the growth journey that I was on. So when I started to find community and people that were aligned with that and on the same journey of healing and growth, obviously it doesn't have to be the exact same journey, but the healing and growth journey, that's when a lot of things started to shift for me as well. So finding community, especially other women who are healing their divine feminine, can offer different aspects of compassion, connection, and witnessing what it's like to be a woman, especially if you didn't have one growing up. So step 8 is practicing forgiveness when you're ready. Because I know that this is a huge one, but forgiveness isn't forgetting. Forgiveness is freeing yourself from the grip that the pain has on your mind, body, and spirit. When we are ready to forgive, we can try to witness your mother's humanity and her mistakes without denying your own truth. Forgiveness is not a requirement, obviously, but when it's authentic, it can honestly, truly be liberating. If you are interested in doing forgiveness practices, I highly recommend the Ho'oponopono prayer. I'm sure you've heard of it because lots of people talk about it. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. Over and over and over again. Certain things that I've done in the past too is I've elaborated. I love you so-and-so. I'm sorry so-and-so. I forgive you so-and-so. I'm thank you so-and-so. Or I love you so-and-so for this. I'm sorry so-and-so for this, etc., etc. If any of this hits home, this is just a reminder that you are not broken. You are just carrying something that was never yours in the first place. And now you realize that you're allowed to put it down. And if you made it this far, thank you so much for watching. I hope you gained some value from that. If you did make it this far, drop a turtle in the comments so that I know. I'm sending you guys so much love on your healing journey. Don't forget that you are not alone, you are not too much, and you are so worthy of love. Sending you so much love. I'll see you next time. Bye.